everybody. Welcome. If it is Thursday, it's Think Tank Thursday. It's like my favorite time during the week. Isn't it yours, Krista?
Yes, absolutely.
We get to take a minute. We have this culture at TrainerTainment that we believe in intentional learning. And I think in that whole frenzy of busy, it's hard to think, and so I love it if it's 1 o'clock. Hopefully you've set your calendar and you're joining us here on Facebook. I personally want to thank Simnox, a relatively new digital sponsor of TrainerTainment, Redemption Plus, who's our longtime forever friend, as well as Bowling Music Network. All those three sponsors are near and dear to us, and if you're not using their products, we would encourage you to do so. They are Think Tank sponsors, and it's my pleasure today to have our audience get to know Krista. Krista has a name, a last name, maiden name that is near and dear to my heart. So many think tanks I say, oh, I've known this person for 20 years or 30 years or whatever. And truly, I've known Krista's dad, Jay Tritley, for, I started working in this industry for Neil Huffauer, and your dad was working for Neil at Triangle Bowl and Associates in 90. Oh, my Lord. Were you even born in the 90s yet?
Yeah, that's how we came here to Texas, actually.
Oh, is that right? So you came from New York, right?
Yeah.
So mid-90s, mid to late 90s, and I didn't work a ton directly with Jay, but when we started TrainerTainment, I had been close to him, knew him well, and he had moved from traditional bowling to family entertainment, and consequently, I knew you through the years. You worked on site. How young were you when you first started working in the bowling industry?
Well, off the record, 11.
11, yeah. Off the record and off the book. Okay.
For just little things here and there a day, going in, cleaning the tables, wherever I could, and just always trying to work and make some money doing something.
You're a little younger than my oldest, or maybe even quite a bit younger. And Leslie, when I helped open Bronco Bowl, which was my first real foray into this industry in 94, when we got open, Leslie came and was a birthday party host, and she was 15, and we could kind of get away with that in Texas. And that birthday party, did you ever birthday party host?
I was, yep, over at Cowtown when my dad was with Cowtown. Yep, yeah, that's where I met my husband.
Oh, you did? You did? You met your husband at Cowtown? I didn't know that. I knew y'all were both bowlers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Met there, working in the snack bar. I'd sit back like this, and my dad would say, get together, just look busy. And then so many things.
Yeah.
Go and creep around and wait for my boyfriend to come.
That's awesome. Well, I remember your dad saying to me, oh, you got to talk to Krista. When you went away to college, he had it on his mind that you needed to come to work for me or with me or whatever. And of course we were in our young years, and young, we didn't make very much money. So I don't know that we were very attractive to young, upstart, out of college, brilliant women, and big corporate America snapped you up early on. So tell us what happened there.
Well, when I went to college, I went to college for fashion, and that was just because I was like, man, I really like shopping and I want to dress people. And that is not what that is. And so I, had a great mentor in college who actually, introduced me to the speaking world. Thank goodness, because I was able to really understand that that's where my niche was. And because of that, I landed a great job in corporate America working for a large retailer. And I stayed there for 9 years, and, the thing about it is that I just, in the ninth year, you know, through that time, I'd had a baby. He's 5 now, and, you know, your life just changes. I think when you, you know, see different things and, you know, your life, you want different things. And I started an Arbonne business 4 years ago, and there's just different things personally you want. And I really wanted more time, and I had a very demanding job. I progressed through the, you know, what did I used to say, just being a Generation Y, I wanted to climb that ladder, but like set it on fire and like be at the top very quickly. And I did. Yep. I grew very quickly. I doubled my salary in a matter of maybe 6 years. And that was very fast. And I had a whole team and did some really great things with my organization. But I just wanted more time, and I really wanted to define what joy was for me. And so if you would have told me a year ago that I would be working in a full-time sales position with commission, and I would have, you know, the ability of time, being able to, you know, take my son to school and pick him up and have this joy that I have today, I would have told you were crazy. Like, I just wouldn't have ever believed that. And so that's really just how everything transpired. I put in my 2 weeks after 9 years of working in corporate America, and I never would have thought I would have come back to family entertainment. But I'll tell you, since I've been here, just working with, and even, you know, and especially, I wouldn't say even, and especially in a time as now, I'm so appreciative of the people that I've got to interact with. It's been great. And we'll talk about the sales environment, what that's been like, but it's just been amazing.
That's great. Well, and you made that transition about a year ago, didn't you? Yeah.
September.
And
Mm-hmm.
September of last year, and took some time off. You and I didn't start talking. Again, your dad, I'm telling you, your dad is a big part of the story, I guess. He called me in January, or emailed me or something, and he said, hey, I love you, you know, have you thought about talking to Krista? And I had not, and we had suffered. We had a young woman who, lots of people in this audience know Kim Wheeler. We love her, and she transitioned and made a move, and I had just started the hunting for a sales rep, and we were just blessed to have several good applications. And so I guess your dad had seen that. And I thought, well, why in the world am I going to invest in the time and energy it takes to train one salesperson? We're ready to have a breakout year. Who knew, you know? and so we hired 2 salespeople, right? And it was crazy. Because I think your dad said something to you, and so then the ball was in your court. And
he said, I text you, and I was like, hey, maybe. Yeah. And you're like, no, like, let's meet.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It was crazy. We had really good response, and I had had 3 or 4 really great interviews, had decided on Sonia Terry, who's on our team. And had told her we'd had really great interviews, and I was going to hire 2. And she was quite excited about that, because she really loves that whole, I think it was just dumb luck on my part to think, well, let's get 2 if we're going to spend the energy, right? And I was interviewing the last good candidate, and Sonia was with me. And we were getting ready to leave, and that's when you texted me. The interview I had with this girl wasn't good. It was clear to me she wasn't a good fit. She was a nice person, but it wasn't a fit. And then you texted me, and I called you driving back down the road from that interview, and that's when I was like, oh no, let's not talk on the phone, let's get together. And we had fun, didn't we?
Oh gosh, you know, it's so, I knew it was right when, like, you were like, no, like, let's meet. Because even when I started my internship with Linda, when I started my corporate job, that's how it's always been. It's always been like a phone call or an interview, and everything's been boom, boom, boom. So when you said, like, let's meet, I was like, oh, this is going to work. Like, I know it. And then you're like, no, let's meet like the next day. And I was like, okay, when do I start? And you're like, tomorrow. was like,
Yeah,
oh
but
man, this is it. It's always like,
you had to, we had to talk about values. I made you tell, I was honest, right?
oh
Because it
yeah.
was a sales position, and I am intrigued. I was intrigued by your Arbonne background as a direct sales association. You know, I have that Tupperware background, so I happen to think those are some wonderful. Like you can't get enough. You can't get the same kind of sales training that you get when you're in a direct sales role and stuff like that. Well, so how's it been? How's it been for you? And of course, I work with you. I know lots of this, but how would you describe it to this audience?
I would say the word interesting. So because and I say interesting because every day it's like something new. So right, like all of us are in this situation where we wake up and we get new information. In a sales role, that's exactly how it is too, because is
All
people
the
are
time,
waking
anyway.
yeah,
Yeah,
people are waking up out of their bed and getting new information. We're working with businesses, and that's exactly what's happened. And I think my favorite part out of it all is that we've just got this great chance to connect with people. And when you look at a sales role, like just outside in, many people who haven't been in a sales role, even people who are in a sales role, they don't, I think a lot of times the miss is they don't recognize that connect piece of it. And if you're not getting sales, that would usually be the piece that a lot of people are missing is the connecting point. You're going in
agreed.
and you're pitching too early, you
Yep.
know, and you're not getting a chance to connect. And that's when my favorite part of the whole thing is just connecting with everybody. And but interesting, I would say just interesting and always being ready to learn something new and call you and go, hey, like, hey, listen, here's what happened. Or call Sonia, having that partner, like, hey, here's what happened. Like, what do you think? Has been very valuable during this time.
That's great. That's great. I know. So we got you guys at the end of January, inundated you, took you 2 or 3 places, and we did I think we did all the right things, getting up to speed, and you guys were just about to open a bazillion doors, and March 13th, all those doors went. Somebody didn't just close them on you or say, see you later. They just slammed right in your face. And so, there's a lot of people employed, unemployed, partially employed. That's kind of what happened for you guys. We were okay. Then you were laid off, and then you were brought back, and like, how's all that working on you? How you doing?
I think due to the role that I was in corporate, being it was in a learning and development role. And one of the things I learned early on from my work partner there is he's just like, you got to be flexible. Like, you got to be flexible.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen the next day. And if you're here, you're here. And change is constant. Like, it's just a constant thing. There's nothing more constant than change. And because of the last 9 years, I think that's what's developed my tenacity to be able to do anything. And that's why, like, even in an Arbonne role, direct sales, like, I think that's really what's happened. So I'm thankful that I've been able to be in roles where change has been such a huge part of whether it's been like personally or implementation for an organization. Yeah.
Well, I know your enthusiasm inspires me. You're interested. You have a great attitude. And I know every day's not fabulous, but I also really appreciate like that smile right there, man. It lights up the room, and it lights me up from the inside out. And it makes all of this a whole lot better to crawl through. So
I think it'd be, easy for anyone just to go, well, I'm just going to lay down and wake up in 2021 or wake up, but it's going, what?
Yeah.
You can't. And if you're waiting on normal, it's not. That's not even a thing. It's now, it's just now. And we got life to live. And whatever that's going to look like tomorrow, we don't know. And, we've got the best part of all of it has been the amount of people just during this time. We have been able to help through just peer talk for crying out loud.
Oh, I know. That's wound up being the best part of the week for even our team. Like, we are so inspired to be able to just be with those other people, hear what's going on, even when it's hard, and I'm just inspired I've been inspired with people's generosity. My own team, our team, you guys are, I remember when we laid you off and you said, well, can we volunteer? Is there anything we can do to volunteer? And, if anybody's legal perspective, I said, no, we can't
No.
volunteer. But, whatever you want to do on social media, you go for it, girl, and, oh, I don't know. It's, everybody ought to have a whole bunch of Kristas in their life, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it doesn't, it stems from the top, and trust me, organizationally, you can't create this without having great leadership. And again, if it was, I was in a situation where I just didn't think it was going to be this great. And I told you guys on the peer talk, and I told you guys at birthday conference, there's sometimes where you feel like you work for people, you work for companies where, I am not good enough, or I am not enough. I'm not enough. And, you make me feel like I am enough. And I can say that over and over and over again. And that's a big deal, to feel like you are enough. That's worth more than any amount of money, is to feel like, I am enough. And so I'll stick with that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm really hoping that'll hold on long enough for me to have enough money to pay you what you're worth.
Hey, that's my job. My commission's my job.
There you go. That's good. That's a great point. Well, and I think that's always been the great thing in my mind about being in sales, is that you had, like, I guess I'm controlling, and I didn't want somebody to tell me you're worth this much and that's all you can make. And that I would have never survived very well. I didn't. I mean, I've spent my life building a company, trying to figure out how to grow. And I don't happen to think money is the goal. I think money is the result. And it's interesting that so much more of it seems to follow the joy, the piece you were talking about, that it's work, it takes a lot of work, but when you're working in a space that you're happy and it makes you happy to do the work. Who was it that said, he's that building down there in Fort Worth? It's a big convention center.
Will
Rogers. He said, when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I probably really messed up that quote.
Oh, my dad has said that for, I think, ever since I was little. And it's been, he's always been in bowling, and, I've watched that. I think that's been a bit, I know for a fact that's been a huge inspiration in my life, is watching him do that. I was emailing someone the other day, and I think it was, who's my name? Texter Cannibal. I was telling him, I said, I can't believe I haven't been there, because when we would drive from here to New York or here to Florida, we'd stop at, family entertainment centers. Well, they're bowling centers at the time. And I would just be like, oh, Dad, why don't you stop, and because he loved what he did and always wanted to make sure he was at the top of his game, and just always passionate. So I got to watch that, growing up.
Rick Goins.
Yes.
That's who's at Texarkana. I love Rick. He needs to be in the fold. We'll get him when he can get situated. Keep calling. Did you hear that, Rick? So, well, what are you looking forward to as we move through this? Your tenacity, your consistency. I know it's all going to pay off in big ways. What are you looking forward to? It's hard to look very far away, but what are you looking forward to?
Everybody that we talk to, and I'd say in most cases, they're excited to hear from us. And, the answer right now might be just, hey, we love TrainerTainment. It's just that, listen, we may not have most of our staff, so we can't train right now. And I cannot wait to be able to serve them when they're up and running. And whether it's from, getting them the best, package that we offer, or even myself going in and helping the team, train, whatever it is that we need to do. And then the other thing is getting more people, to see our PCQPC. I am so passionate about that training. I just love it because you can apply it immediately. Just telling more people about
it's a really good time. We always try to take that time. It's totally based on the information in this book.
The book, yes.
Got her. Yeah.
It was just such a game changer. And that's actually what I put, when we just did Think Tank for Meaningful Conversations is, what a game changer that's been. And I think, again, knowledge is, great to have it, but it's best to share it, right? And that's what I've been trying to do is just share it with anybody that I know that's in a sales or influence position. Because even though I wasn't in direct sales with my large retailer, man, I sure was selling something. I had to sell, training.
Well, that's right. I mean, I don't think training and or coaching is a bit different than selling, because we're trying to connect enough with people so that we can help them understand this is what we want you to do. We're trying to get them to buy off on the way we want them to do it, right? And I don't know
behavior change.
Yeah, I don't know how that's not a sales process. I think teachers do it. I think pastors have to do it. Moms and dads. I bet you're selling little Liam every day on how he needs to behave.
Eat that vegetable.
Right,
Bet he won't.
Great. Well, I thought it was important on Think Tank. I wanted people to get to know you. We had this scheduled months ago. We did the Get to Know Sonia, and you should have been right behind her. And we got really interrupted by the way life was. And I know life isn't back to normal, but I'm going to fight for normal as much as I can. And having people know who you are will help them have as much joy about you as we get to have. And I'm just delighted to have you on the team, and look forward to what's going to be next month and the month after, and I hope 10 years from now, right? That in 10 years we're having another Think Tank, and you have whatever big role you have in this company, and you'll be telling us all how to get it done. So
there we go.
Awesome. Hey, so you can't come on Think Tank without doing the signature question. So in our company, as you well know, our passion, our core purpose is to help people and businesses grow. And so to that end, I'd love to know, Krista, what do you do on a consistent basis to be sure that you're growing? We have a core value of intentional learning. And so what is it that you do to help yourself and or others grow?
So my head is constantly in a book. I read all the time, and that was not me until 4 years ago when I started my Arbonne business. I did not read in college. My mentor couldn't get me to read except fashion books, which I really enjoyed, or magazines. But I'm reading actually self-development books, which thank goodness, because when I went and got my master's at the same time I started Arbonne, my professors were like, you need to read. So I constantly have something. I'm finishing Visioneering right now by Andy Stanley, and it has been amazing. I love it. We do a book club actually with it, and I love it. So it's been really good.
That's great. Well, yeah. I love that, and I am the proud author of one of your book club reads. I know your book club group did People Buy From People, and that was quite the joy. So, well, it's been fun. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and I know that people will be even more delighted to hear from you when you call. And our big word of the day to you is pick up the phone when my salespeople call. Yeah, pick up the phone. It makes their job easier. Even if you don't buy, you need to say hi. So there you go. All right,
Thanks
Chris.
for having me.
Have a great one. Yeah, you bet.
Bye.